Very interesting. We want to change everything, says Antonio Conte, and we see that fire that he brings to the position. You see it on the touchline. It's no doubt when he's talking to his players as well. But does he also, as he revealed there, have that ice in his veins, Robbie? When he sees a tactical problem, he's got the ability to recognise it and sort it out.
I mean, that's why he's won 5 championships in the last 7 years. So he's clearly a top manager, and to go to Inter Milan last year and win it after so many years. So tactically, he's brilliant. He got a spot on today because the first half, they were, as I said, they were way off the pace in terms of the intensity, in terms of tactical awareness. They were all over the place. But the second half, he understood that they needed to be changed quickly, and they changed it, and it was a completely different team the second half.
Is the suggestion also, Jamie, that he's still very much getting to know this group and what they're capable of?
Of course, he's looking at players, he's looking at different options. Obviously, the wing-back areas are going to be interesting. I mean, I'd like to see how far he ran in his technical area. He didn't stop, did he? But you will. You look at there might be a situation. You've got Reguilon or Sessegnon. Sessegnon looked a fantastic young player when he was at Fulham. Since he's been there, it hasn't worked out for him. But playing this system, he might end up being their Victor Moses. Who knows? So there's going to be competition for places. Everyone is playing for places in this system. But it's going to take time. It's not just going to happen automatically. But you've got a tactical, I'd say a genius. I said before the game, what he did when Chelsea won the league that year, when he changed it, flipped from a 4 to a 3, he changed things, he changed the mentality, he got them winning. He pushed that team across the line by coaching them and cajoling them and getting them playing in a style and in an aggressive manner that I didn't think they were capable of. But that's what he's capable of. And I think that this, with the fans and the players have got to buy into it, get a couple of players in. I think we'd agree there are 1 or 2 players short still, but if they invest in January, there's no reason, because 4th place is up for grabs.
We asked before the game, Micah, is style important? Did we see that in the course of this game, that they have to play in the way they did in that second half, in terms of the intensity as much as anything?
Exactly that. They need to. I don't think they're a good enough team just yet to sort of just play within themselves. They need that intensity. They're not good enough. They don't create enough to do that. I think Spurs did well in the second half, but if I'm being totally honest, they need some creativity in there. They need a number 10 who... Because Kane's still dropping a little bit too deep.
But how do they get a 10 in that system, though? How do they play that system? They can't get a 10 in that
necessarily... OK, Lucas Moura, I'd say. Maybe not... Maybe it doesn't have to be a 10, but someone with a little bit more creativity. Someone who's going to put in some crosses for Harry Kane. Something, because I was watching that game and it was more the manager and the intensity that got them through the game rather than the quality. And Leeds have come and got 4 of the best players. And Spurs found it hard today. And it's going to take time. He's only been there 3 weeks. That's what they've got to give him time. But I still think they need a little bit more to be challenging for that top 4.
When you think about that Chelsea team that won the league, it says Fabregas as we all look at technically, he's one of the best midfield players. He didn't really play in that team. He went with Matic and Kante. I know Kante plays like 3 men most of the time, but he didn't look at that creativity. The creativity come in the wide areas with Hazard and Pedro, and then you had a focal point like Costa. So he will try and mirror that with Tottenham. So the players have almost got
If you've got the players, but if you don't have a Hazard, you have to find a different way.
You've got Son. Son's he's an incredible player as well. You've got Kane and Costa. They're pretty much the same. I think we agreed with Moore at first. After too many touches, kept dribbling the ball, losing it. You can't get at the pitch when someone keeps losing the ball. But there are elements of it. But he's just going to have to play.
Players here already, Jamie. There are Ndombele and Dele Alli potentially.
Yeah, but and then Ndombele in a 2 right now. If you're going to play with Winks and Højbjerg, I don't think he's disciplined enough in this system. If he wants to play that way, I think he vacates the midfield space too often, and then that would make up. Then you're putting the defence under pressure. And as I said, when he was at Chelsea, he didn't have those.
He can play in that Moura position, can't he?
He could play in that one of those wide, or just coming off the line.
Yeah, just coming inside, because creativity-wise, in terms of skill and cleverness, he's very, very good. But I agree with Jamie. If you're going to get to 2 sitters, I don't think he's disciplined enough for that role.
But do you think he could make this team better going forward?
Absolutely, yeah. I think if you're asking a Harry Kane, for example, or a Son, I would say he would probably want someone like him in the team, because he's always looking for that forward pass. I agree with Jamie. We said the first half, everything he was doing was running with the ball. The second half, he gets out of his feet, plays a quick one to Harry Kane, and he nearly scores. He was moving the ball a lot quicker. Someone like him can do that. He can open defences. And, if you're asking Harry Kane, he would probably like a player like that around him that gives him the opportunities.
But he needs to change, and that was the message certainly from Antonio Conte's press briefing this week. If he wants to play in this team, he's going to have to learn that the team is the bigger picture.
Well, people like him, it's going to be a problem. So if you don't do it his way, you'll be out the door. And I really think that he's got a really good, in terms of skill and cleverness, he's very, very good. But if you don't put on the training ground, you're not going to play. And he's mentioned it all in the last few weeks. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in January when he has the window to see what kind of players that he'll bring in.
They need a right wing back as well. I mean, if he talks about if he's going to play the two and not with like a creative player in there, they need some better quality on that right wing.
They paid 25 million for him in the summer.
Yeah, but when we had Victor Momas, he was like a winger playing there. So you know, when he goes to that byline, he's got good feet. He's going to get quality in the box. That right-hand side today was just a little bit too...
He also has Doherty as well, there, who spent 18 million for, and he's not really getting a sniff. I think in this kind of system, that'll certainly
But is that a problem?
Because it goes back to, David, it goes back to, you've got a manager here now, for probably the first time, really, that is... You need something to happen and go your way. There's been too many mistakes. You've now got to say to Antonio Costa and the... what's his name? The director of football? Paratici. Give me the players that I need. You know, you're not playing FIFA on the computer where you can say, "Oh, he's got good stats. I'll bring him in, and I'm going to make this team better." You've got to let.
That's part of the conversation.
You've got to let. Yeah, but that's probably why it didn't work out the first time. You've got to give a little bit, and you've got to say, "What do you need?" He knows the game. He knows the league. He knows. He's worked everywhere. So give him the opportunity to buy the players. Now we've been at this club, and it doesn't always work out like that. You know, Daniel will want to be heavily involved. But I think if you give Antonio the licence to bring in the players that he wants, I do believe you can get this place really going.
Do you not think that was a conversation that was already had, Jamie? I don't think Conte would have come here if he hasn't
Easier
given
said than done, though, Robbie,
some
isn't it?
leeway. Maybe at the start he would have told him, but if they don't give him the opportunity to spend a lot of money, I think a manager like him won't hang around.